Welcome to Life with Marlene. Hey, Gems, how are you doing? I thought I'd do a pop up live. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday to everybody. I hope the volume is well. And yeah, and if you guys could like this stream, if it's your first time over here with Life with Marlene, I do walkthroughs, vlogs, travel videos, and reviews. So I love to have you over here. So consider subscribing to this channel. So today, everybody, I have a topic that it was on my spirit, it's on my heart to talk about, and it's about trials, and nobody can stop trials from happening to us. Nobody can stop things from happening to you, but what you can do is triumph over them. And for me, it was just in my spirit today, like I have a deep passion and love for talking about today, that while we can't stop trials from happening to us, what we can do is filter our reaction to it. And I feel so much power saying that, whereas before I didn't feel like I had the power. So I wanted to share this message with you all today about, a lot of times we don't believe that we can get through situations in our life. And it's all about what we say to ourselves, what we speak to ourselves, the conversations that you have in your head. The affirmations that you speak over your life, the people that you have in your life. So, we're going to get into all of that. So, this is an encouraging message and word for all of you gems, about being triumphant over trials. Because one thing about life is we can't stop life from happening to us, we can't stop problems. And one thing we definitely cannot do is stop how other people treat us. Those type of conversations, we can't stop any of those things. But what we can do is our reaction to our trial. That's one thing. That's where our power, that's where our strength, that's where our energy lies, in our reaction. And whether we know it or not, having a positive reaction at all times. It's not that it's going to be something easy, because when you're upset, when you're angry, when you're disappointed, when people are ruthless or evil to us, our first initial reaction is going to be get back at them or something like that. But we have to show that we're better than that. We know better, we will do better, and we deserve better. So let's get into talking about this today, Gems. Triumph over your trials. So, what are you, Gems, dealing with today? What problems is happening to you in your life? Is it a financial problem? Is it a physical ailment? Is it difficulty dealing with some relative? Is it something big, or maybe it's something that you're still dealing with? Maybe a decision that you made in the past, or the way that somebody in your life has treated you, and you're still battling with coping with that in your life. Hey, Realist One, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Sunday. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Um, yeah, so I just want to come with this message and speaking about being triumphant over your trials. So let's first talk about what it means to triumph. Triumph means to obtain victory. And just thinking about that, victory is something wonderful, right? We all want to have victory over so many things, but I'm here to tell you that we are the ones that have to tell ourselves how our life is going to be, how our focus is going to be, how our mindset is going to be, how our reaction is going to be with certain people in our life. So, will you triumph over your trials, people, mindset, and setbacks, or are you going to lay down? Are you going to allow other people to control your reaction? Are you going to get upset when you could just always, you could be chill, you can not even have a reaction, just forget about them? So, let's get into talking about that. So we discussed that being triumphant means to obtain a victory. So what are some of the things that we need to obtain a victory over? First, we're going to talk about a victory over certain people. There's people that we know, and there's many. There's associates, there's relative, there's the person that you're in a relationship with. So there's a lot of people that we have to deal with in a day-to-day basis. But the people that we allow into our head, into our mind, is the most important ones. It's so important for us to be very selective on the people that we actually listen to. We can't stop people from doing what they do, but what we can do is filter our reaction to them. And there are some people that don't deserve even a moment of our energy. They don't deserve a moment of your time, but we do because we think that we have no other choice. And I'm here to encourage your mind, your heart, into knowing that you always have a choice on the way that you react to things. You have a choice on who you allow in your life. You have a choice on what you believe about yourself. You have a choice on what you listen to. And we can be triumphant in knowing that I have the power, that I am deserving of having amazing relationships. And if people in our life take us for granted, don't try to understand us, always trying to do a jab at us, make fun of us, all those things, they don't deserve us. And it's not something like you're a haughty person or you're a person who thinks that you're better than others. It's nothing like that. It's just proof that you know what you're made of. You know what has been downloaded inside of you. And you don't have to settle for negative people. For a long time, myself, I'm just speaking for me. I'm not speaking for you, Gems, but for myself, a long time, I didn't think that I had even the right to want better. I always thought that, the people that I had in my life were the only people that were out there. And we have a choice, whether it's a relative, it's a person you're in a relationship with, it's your job. There's always choices that we have to make every day. Hey, East, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Sunday. Hey, Liz, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Sunday, guys. I hope everybody's doing amazing. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I didn't actually realize, that I had power over who I chose to listen to. I had the power for the decisions that I make. I have power over what I allow and believe about myself. And we don't even know that there's certain people that we have in our life when they have that negative mindset, when they act evil, when they're always the victim. You start to adopt those same things and become just like the people that you are surrounded by. So I just wanted to say to you all that you have a power over your mind. You have a power over the decisions that you make. You have the power to not listen to that. You have the power to believe in yourself even when others don't. And there was so much strength that I got in that knowledge. Actually, not just the knowledge, but in believing it. So, for many, like myself, I didn't grow up in an environment where encouragement was spoken over me, where positive affirmations and even being positive in general was something that I saw on a day to day basis. As I got older, I had to learn to choose for myself that I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like certain individuals in my life. I want to be better. I want to be accountable. I want to have a life that I love. I don't want to be miserable. I wanted those things. So for me, I had to make a choice to unlearn the toxicity that happened for my entire childhood up until that moment. And that's where the mindset shifting came in for me. That even though I had been around such negative people, I had been around such negative spirits, evil, just pure evil, the things that, people that we know do to us. But I had to make a choice to not let what they have done to me be the selection of what the rest of my life was going to be. See, that's being triumphant over your trial. That even though you've been through some difficulties, some trials, some traumas, some hateful things, that I had to learn that it was my choice to make a decision on how I want my life to be moving further. See, that's being triumphant over your trial. That you can't change what happened to you. You can't change what people have done to you, but you can change what you think about yourself. And I feel like that's a victory in itself, because it's not an easy thing when you've been through some dark things. It's not easy when you've had people backstab you, or do harmful things to you, or talk about you behind your back. Those things hurt because we're human beings. Hey Tamika, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Sunday. um we can't stop, you know we can't stop the things that people do, but what we can do is allow ourselves to love our life, and that's a victory in itself. Learning to be positive, learning to smile, whereas maybe before you had always been like, aggressive and mean, always looking at the negative side of life. That's something that I had to start unlearning negativity. I had to make my life from that point onward a positive one. And it's not something easy, because if you have already always been around negative, you have always been around people who gossip about others, always people who take advantage of other people, people who have very bad attitudes, talk nasty to other people. And I had begun to adopt that and thought that that was the way that I had to be too, because that's all I knew. So the triumph, the victory began for me once I made a decision that I didn't have to be mean. I didn't have to be nasty like other people. I wanted better, and thus I made a decision to do better. But you really can't get there until you're ready to get there. For myself, I got fed up with being mad all the time. I got tired of being sad. I got tired of hearing about the negative life of others, but then they never did anything about it. We all know those people that always are complaining, but they never do anything. They're complaining about their financial situation. They complain about their health. And while we can't change certain things about our health, we can change what we listen to, we can change our diet, we can change how much we exercise. Those are the things that we can do. And for me, and for you too as well, Gems, you can make a victory and a change over maybe breaking some generational curses, and not just saying, this is who I am and this is all I can do, this is all I can be. We can always be better than the past, but it all starts with some decisions that we make. And I had to learn for myself that I had to learn to choose myself. I had to learn how to treat myself. I had to learn to stop talking negative about myself, stop saying things like, you're dumb and you can't do it and this will only be your life. If you want something to change, how is it going to change until you start believing that I deserve a change? I deserve happiness. I deserve peace. And that right there was the moment that um, the my life and the lives of everybody that I knew was going to change too. Because when you become better, so does the lives of other people that you touch and reach. And I wanted to be the person that was a better example. That even though I didn't have uh, those role models within my relatives around me, I had to make the choice to grow up. I had to make the choice to stop saying I can't have certain things and I can't do certain things. See, the victory begins first in your mind. And for myself, I said, okay, if I don't have the money that I want, if I don't have the attitude that I want, if I don't have the mindset that I want, what am I going to do? So I had to get up and speak one day victory over my life, that I'm not going to keep allowing myself to make poor choices. I'm not going to keep being lazy. I'm going to stop slacking off. See, that's a triumph in itself, admitting it to yourself. But, you do have to be fully grown. You have to be fully mature and wanting to make changes and not accepting the same choices. Because I have seen so many things in my life, growing up um, in urban communities. A lot of times we don't have things set up like in other communities. You don't get set up with the financial situation. You don't get set up with having certain things, but I wasn't going to allow that to be my reason for excuses. I wasn't going to allow that to be the reason why I said, well, this is my life and I have to accept it. Once I made a decision that I was going to do better, I wasn't going to stop until that happened. And for me, that meant that I knew I was going to have to move away from those negative people. So that was my first thing, working, saving some money, having a fund for me to move so that I could be in my own space around people who weren't going to drag me down. But this is just me, Gems. I'm just speaking what worked for me. I knew that I had to move away from the negativity because for me, if always seeing them, doing the same old thing, always complaining, always being miserable, that wasn't working for me. So that was my first part of getting a triumph over my trial. My trial was the evil around me. So once I changed my surrounding, then now that I'm not around and seeing it and hearing it all the time, now I was able to focus on, okay, what's next? So I'm here to tell you that if you really want something in your life, you are the ones that have to speak it over your life. You're the one that has to believe. You're the one that has to want to change. And for me, my dream, my peace of mind, and my hope was stronger than my love for relatives. And that's something hard to say. It's a tough thing to say that the people that I love the most was hurting me the most. Yeah, that it hurts a lot when you love people but you hate them at the same time. I know that that may not make sense to everybody, but that's where I was at that time. Um, I knew that if I stayed around those same people, stayed around their same mindset and attitude, that was going to be me, and I was going to be just like them, old, broke, miserable, and overweight with lots of health problems. And I had to say for myself, I don't want that to be me. I said, it's nothing wrong with it, living in certain financial demographic. It's for who, if that's for you, that's for you. But that was not for me. I was tired of seeing the same, people with broken down cars and not having money and all of those things, and going to certain stores and being judged because I live in that area. I was sick of that. So for me, I knew I needed to move away from that surrounding so that I could start feeling good about myself. And once I overcame that and I moved to a space where I am now, and I have nothing but peace. I have nothing but, hope. And it's only going to get better from there. So I shared my testimony with you all to let anybody who is maybe thinking that this is my life and this is all I can do. That's not the case. Once you make a decision and then get your plan and move forward with it, you can do anything that you want to do. And a lot of times, especially for people who look like us, we accept far too less. We settle. We settle in relationships. We settle with our relative. We settle for our financial situation and just think this is all I can do and this is all I can be. That's not true. And that's not true. So I wanted to first start off by saying that, yeah, done frequently. hmm So that's another thing. So, also in speaking about being triumphant over our trial, we also have to think about achievements, right? Achievements. And I'm here to tell all of you gems that you can achieve anything that you want. And growing up as a little girl, a little black girl, in an urban community where your my parents didn't have a lot, I always thought that my life was only going to be working a blue collar job my whole life. Okay, working that blue collar job, not having much, you know, poor attitude, um, being controlled by my environment. Yeah. And for me, I knew that couldn't be my whole life. I wanted better. And it's nothing wrong with the ones that live in those areas. I'm not throwing any shots or anything like that. But I know I wanted better so that I could be to my level of my awareness, to my level of thinking, to what I knew that I deserved. And I have to say to all of you gems, you deserve more. You deserve more. Getting out today. Oh, what happened? I must have missed it. East, you're good. Um, I didn't know that wanting better was gonna cause hatred. You know, a lot of times when, especially the ones that look like us, those who are minorities, when we want better, we get flack from our own relatives. You get flack from the community. You get flack from people in the workspace. You get flack from everybody. But you have to be stronger than your environment. You gotta believe in what is inside of you, even if sometimes you don't believe it, you don't even know how it's going to happen, but you got to believe that I can change my life, I can change my mindset, I can have peace, I can be in a better financial situation, I can have my own business, I can do all those things. So I'm here to tell you because I used to be that woman who was grinding and hustling only for a 9 to 5. I was the one that was always, that bad attitude. I was the one that um was settling in with friendships. I was settling in relationships. And when I stopped settling or believing this is all I could do, then everything shifted. I only spoke to a few about me being in the hospital. My pressure was fine, but I'm fine and going home today. Okay, Ease, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry. I hope that you feel better and all will be well with you really soon. So that's one thing that I really I had to think about and saying it to all you gems saying it to all you gems. I just feel like I need to encourage all of you. I feel like I need to encourage all of you gems, especially the ones that look like me, my urban, brothers and sisters. We don't have to settle. My minorities, and it's not just the black community. I'm speaking to all minorities because a lot of times we get behind the eight ball. We don't get the same setup and treatment and respect and all of the things that other communities get. But it doesn't mean that that's all you have to believe that you deserve. And for me, it's not something that just happened for me. I had to work 2 to 3 times harder than maybe somebody who was lighter than me because I didn't get the setup. I didn't get the setup for money to have this and that. So I had to do it for myself. So I had to be fully grown. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get myself not only this regular job, but I had to get myself a second job, and then I had to start my business, my hustle, until my hustle became my income. And yeah. Hey, hey Hilda, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Sunday. Um, so I had to want to change that. I had to want to change my entire life. And I'm here to tell all of you, especially my people who look like me, minorities, because that's usually who I draw over here, that even if you don't have a lot financially, all you have to have is a lot up here, that hope, that dream, that I can want better, I can do better, I don't have to settle, I can improve. I have the intelligence, I have the wherewithal, and then having the courage to follow through. So I busted my hump for almost 3 years, having not one job, having two jobs, plus working my business. So I'm happy to say that I'm at a point in my life right now where I am only doing PRN on a 9 to 5 job, and hopefully by next year I will be able to walk away from the 9 to 5 life and be fully a business owner, as I call a boss babe. So yeah, I'm doing those things. So I want to encourage the minds and the hearts of anybody that if you have a dream inside of you, if you have a hope inside of you, if you have something that you keep thinking about, something that you want to do, don't keep sitting on that dream and thinking that I can't do it. See, you have to convince your mind first. You have to have a victory over your own mind. And for myself, it wasn't until I moved away from the ones that were always feeding that negativity inside of me. Once I moved away from those relatives, now I could have my own mind and to think for myself with peace. Marlene, you're an amazing person. You can do all these things. Go start that business. Go and do this. Go and travel. Go and have some fun. Go have healthier relationships. Smile, have fun, be at peace. And it wasn't until I started making the decisions and following through where my life started shifting and changing. So it's all of those things. Yeah. And it's not easy to walk away from relative. It's not easy to walk away from relationship and walk away from what we're comfortable with. But A lot of times we have to understand that you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. And for me, I had to get uncomfortable. I had to miss certain people because I had been so used to the toxicity that was always poured into me. I was used to the toxic mindset and being angry and miserable and complaining and being lazy. And I had to kick my own self in the butt and say, Marlene, enough is enough. You've been talking about this dream for far too long. Make it happen. So how did I make it happen? I got myself a mentor. I put my tail into therapy. I started distancing myself from people that were always talking but never doing. I didn't want to be around people who were just dreaming. I wanted to be around people who are living, because that's where I am in my life. It's not the dreamers, it's the doers, it's the ones that are going to do things when it's hard, when it's not comfortable, when there's a challenge, when it's tough, when they're frustrated, but they're pushing through anyways. That's who I'm talking to right now. This is who I want that message to hit you in your heart. Stop settling. Yeah, East, never settle. And I had to fully convince myself of that before a change was going to happen. And I'm telling you that I was dipped down. And when I came up, I was made brand new because I adopted a completely different mindset. Once I changed my surrounding, then I could change my mindset. Then I could change my perspective. Then I changed my outlook. My attitude followed. And I'm telling you that everything started to become prosperous. My finances got better. My relationships got better. I started being at peace. My health improved. I lost weight. It's a lot of things that happens when you allow yourself to triumph over your trials. And for myself, my victory had to first begin in my mind. I had to begin to believe in myself. I had to begin. I had to begin to believe in me. See, it's nobody that's going to do that for me. I only had one person in my life that poured that into me, and that was my dad. And then when my dad wasn't here anymore, it was like all the other people in my life were negative, and I was like, I got to get out of here. So I had to get uncomfortable for a while. I was sad. I missed them. I miss that. I miss all of the, the partying and all of this stuff, that stuff. And while it's fun to go out there and have fun, for me, what was more important is knowing that I'm going to be able to sit my tail down in a few years and let the money come to me instead of me chasing the money. See, it's about shifting the mindset. And once I shift my mindset, I shifted my life. All those things, but you can't continue to allow yourself to be around the same negative people, the same people who aren't doing anything. See, it's not showing off to know your worth. It's not showing off to expect people to do what they say they're going to do. I can't be around people anymore that aren't consistent, that aren't willing to make sacrifices, that aren't confident, that don't love themselves. You know, I have to be around the people who are hustling for their dreams, because it holds me back from wanting to do my dreams. Because when I look to the left and I see my homeboy and my homegirl, like I see them grinding for their dreams and I see them achieving, and I'm like, yeah, that encourages me to move forward. And if you don't have people around you that are moving forward, like, it's not that we're all doing the same things, because I know people who do different things. I know people who are artists. They sing. I have a friends that paint. That open an art gallery. That they're setting up their business online. But it's whatever it is that they're doing. They're allowing their self to do it. They've moved past the dreaming, and now they're into the doing, the winning. And you have to want to win. And for me, wanting to win is stronger than me feeling tired. You know, you're always going to feel tired. Okay. You're always going to feel tired. So just grind and hustle a little bit more, put in a little more effort and make it happen. Because if you're not consistent, you're going to get the same old thing. And you're going to be complaining about this until kingdom come. Okay. And that was my personal reality. I can't speak on your personal reality, but that was mine. If I didn't like my life, if I was punching a clock 9 to 5 and I hated it, if you hate it, it's like, how much do you hate it? Do you hate it enough to make changes? Do you hate it enough to do some research? Do you hate it enough to get yourself a second job to fund you being able to walk away completely so that you can put all your time and your effort into what brings you joy? I was like, yeah. So I had to turn up that fire inside of me, hustle and grind two, 3, 4, 5 times harder than the average Joe so that I can have the life that I want to in a little bit. So that's only going to reach who it's supposed to reach. I don't expect everybody to be like me, to want the same things and all of that. I don't expect that. But all I'm doing is sharing my testimony of my success. And my success began with believing in me. So, wherever you are in your life, whatever you're going through, you have to be convinced of your victory. You have to be convinced of your worth and then be willing to do something with that power. See, we all have power inside of ourselves. You have the power to win, you have the power to change, you have the power to do anything remarkable, you know. You can have a remarkable life, a phenomenal life, but you have to be convinced of that. And then I have to say to myself, is my dream, is my hunger for success stronger than me being tired, stronger than me being lazy, stronger than my pain, than my hurt, than my situation? And I had to say yes, yes, triumphantly. I know me, I love me, I'm my own friend, and I'm willing to work 20, 50, 100 times than the average and be consistent with it because I know my worth. So it's all those things, gems, that yeah, that's why I came here to share this with you, what is on my heart, and to let you all know that regardless of what you have been through, where you have been, um, who is saying whatever to you, you have to know yourself. And for me, I had to know myself and what I could do. I knew my intellectual capacity. I know what has been downloaded inside of me. I know what I could do. So I'm saying to myself, why am I sitting here settling and making a job's dream come true when I could be making Marlene's dream come true? So it was all those things, but you don't get it until you get it. You don't want it until you actually want it. And I'm here to reach the ones that want that. So um, you'll be hearing more later, after the next chapter is, things are starting to line up in my life and take place. And I will share as those things come to fruition. But just letting you know that you don't have to come from much to be much. My dad always said that, and he's always with me every time I think about that statement. You don't have to come from much to be much. You can turn that $5 or $10, you can turn that $500 into 5 million, period, if you believe it. If you make the right choices, if you have the right mentors, if you are consistent, if you really want it. It doesn't matter how many times people say no to you. It doesn't matter how many fallbacks and setbacks you have. It doesn't matter who stabbed you in the back. It doesn't matter who supported you. It doesn't matter who understands your dream. The only one that it matters that supports and understands your dream is you. And then you got to get up and make it happen. What are you willing to do, Gems? What are you willing to do? It's all of those things that I had to start thinking in my meditation time, that you're amazing, you're intelligent, you have a dream, so make it happen. So make it happen. No excuses, no laziness. You got to check all that out the door and go for it. So that's my that's what I came to say. That's what I came to say. I know it's not going to touch everybody, and it may be a strong message. It may be something that you don't want to hear, because I had a lot of people tell me for many years, "Oh man, you're good at this, this, and this. Why don't you do it?" And I had to I had to learn to know me. I had to learn to be my own friend, and not to only look at the friendships that I had out here, you know, relatives and friends and this person and that person, or the person you're in a relationship with. I had to learn that the love outside of me was irrelevant. I had to learn the love inside of me, the love that was downloaded inside me. I had to learn my purpose. Like, Marlene, for real, why are you here? What are you supposed to do? And it's time to make that happen, and stop dreaming about it and make it your personal reality. Yeah, check that. Check that. Hey, UK Medic, thank you so much for being here. I hope you catch the replay. It takes really getting to know yourself, like you said. You want the changes within. Yeah. And that's what, for real, like 100%. I was so scared when I was confronted with, the power of my mind, knowing that I could do some great things, but having enough faith in myself. Marlene, you can do it. Marlene, you're phenomenal. Marlene, you're smart enough. Marlene, even if they don't understand me, even if they don't listen to, even if they don't support, even if they backstab you, even if all of those things, Marlene, don't stop being you. Okay? And I say that to all of you. Hey, Miss 702, I say that to all of you. Don't stop you. Don't stop your dream because another person doesn't understand. Or especially don't stop your dream, especially the ones that don't like you, the ones that hate you. That's when you got to put two or three more bricks into your fire and say, it's time to put my foot on the gas and show them. Don't tell people what you're about. Show them. Show them what you're made of. You can't break me, and that's what a lot of people want. People want to break you. People want to keep you stagnant. They want to keep you on their same level when you're supposed to be up here, and it's not showing off. You got to know who you are and what you're made of and make it happen. No matter how many times you fall down, slow down, get up, brush yourself off, and say, let's try this again. Let's get a mentor. See, and you have to be willing to do everything that it takes. It's not that it was easy. It was so difficult to know I needed to work on myself. I needed to work on my mindset. I needed to work on my attitude. I need to work on my perspective. I need to work on my finances. I need to work on loving me. Okay? And it was like all of that on period, on everything, on every fiber that is inside of me. I had to learn to know me and love me fully before I could get into my dream. And it's a hard pill to swallow when you realize that you're settling, that you don't believe in yourself, that you're worried about the wrong things, and you're chasing other people's dreams and not chasing yours. So I was like, yeah, Marlene, you're going to have to stop that and do what you need to do until you can get onto the right course that is supposed to be for you. And I was very disorganized. mentally, emotionally, financially, choosing the wrong relationship, settling, doing doing things for others but never doing for me. I was like, nah, that's the end of that. That ends. End of it, end of it, end of it. I'm done. Actually, just walking away from people, walking away from taxing and toxing relationship. And I mean emotional, I mean mental, I mean romantic, all of it. I had to walk away from all of it so that I could get into that fire that was in my belly, because until you're there, you can't understand. I couldn't quiet that noise inside of my head anymore. I couldn't silence it. Like, when are you going to go after your dream? When are you going to do this? You're so good at it. And for me, it wasn't enough. I would find myself even working on the 9 to 5. I'm thinking about my dream. And I was like, yeah, it's time to do more than just this. So for me, that was my triumph over my trials. That was my triumph over my trials. And it's going to be different for every person. Every person has a different walk, a different journey, a different lifestyle. And I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I wanted to speak this because it was on my spirit to say that the people that we are care about and love may not be loving you. That was hard for me to swallow, that the person that I loved the most in my romantic relationship was actually sabotaging my own love for myself, was stopping me from my purpose, that my own relatives were stopping me from my purpose. And I had to understand that I loved them, but I had to love myself more. I had to love myself more. And they get upset. They say that you abandoned them. You think you're better. Whatever. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care. It's about my life, my purpose, and my dreams. And for me, dreaming wasn't good enough anymore. I didn't want it to be a dream. I wanted to make it my reality. And this is just the encouragement to all of you, that whatever setback, whatever mindset that you may have right now, you can change it. But it's about you convincing yourself in your mind, I can get up. I can get up. I can win. I have the right perspective. I have the right attitude. I have the right focus. And I'm going to work on me. I'm going to put myself into therapy. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to love on myself. And yeah, all those things, because I know my worth, and I refuse to settle, not even for one moment, not even for one more day for the rest of my life. I settled for so many years that I refuse to settle anymore. Message, refuse to settle anymore. You deserve so much better. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much, Miss 702. I appreciate that. Um, and I just want to encourage all of you gems, triumph over your trials. Don't settle. Whatever you need at this time, have enough courage to know that I don't have to settle. I don't have to do things to make you happy and make myself miserable. I no longer can do that. And I don't want you to do it anymore either. Believe in yourself and love yourself enough to walk away from toxicity and step into your positive life. I'm Marlene, and I'm the content creator for Life with Marlene. And on this channel, I do live streams. I have vlogs, I do travel vlogs, I do walkthroughs, all of those things. And it's all to encourage you to have the life that you want, the life that you deserve, the life that has been downloaded inside of you. Don't let anybody quiet your dreams. Make it your personal reality. Triumph, triumph, and triumph. The victory is yours, but you got to reach out and make it happen with your actions. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I will see you guys on the next video, live stream, and motivation. Bye, guys.